Tomorrow's the big highlight, but we do have some earnings and some good stock stories to keep us busy here today. Renita Young joins me, our senior markets correspondent. Let's start with MongoDB from last night. Renita, let's talk about some of the tech names that are hitting late in the season. Market liked CrowdStrike, couldn't get it too far, but still had an okay session. MongoDB kind of trying to do the same thing here as these beaten down tech companies tell a story about a comeback.
They tried, but this morning the stock is lower because although I know it's really low, because although it beat on estimates for revenue and earnings per share, it was the outlook that fell short of analyst expectations and that folks were expecting more of. I mean, honestly. But if we take a look at the numbers, earnings per share adjusted came in over expectations, well above. It was 57 cents over that 7-cent estimate, and revenue was also above at $361 million for 36% growth year over year. Subscription revenue, key metric, grew 35% to $348.2 million, right? And looking ahead, MongoDB is expecting first quarter revenue in the range of $344 million to $348 million. That was actually below the estimate of $354.7 million. That's what people are trading on today. But adjusted earnings per share is expected to be above the consensus estimate. It's expected to be between 17 and 20 cents. That's above that consensus estimate of 14 cents, right? Now, this company, it of course sells the open source database platform for businesses, and then it has a whole subscription-based software as its business model, which could be good, could be bad. You know, we've heard this quarter of companies switching their business models, specifically software companies, to find out, well, is it more advantageous for us to get subscriptions or a use basis? And you know, up to each company to determine what's better for them. But they want to drive more efficiency across the business. That was the key word that the company CEO said. And then this morning we have a bunch of analysts talking about it as well. Cutting price targets, raising price targets. It's a mixed bag.
Wow. It seemed like when the number came out that maybe this could find its way through to the upside, but no chance with the guidance. And pretty harsh response here by the market. Loss still, compared to the last year on a GAAP basis, they're just still bleeding out, and this is where the market has little tolerance right now. So at least it's an example, though, or we can look at some of the cloud stocks that reported last month, find some that are up, find some that are down. To some, that looks like a more healthy market than just kind of pushing everything in one direction. That brings us to crypto. Not quite a healthy market. We're seeing more institutions go belly up, and the latest is Silvergate.
Silvergate Gate. That's what a few people are calling this whole situation. So Silvergate is plummeting another 36% or so this morning. And, last week we heard that it discontinued a key service, the Silvergate Exchange Network. And today we learned, actually overnight, that it's shutting down its operations, voluntarily liquidating assets. Now, if you're worried about what happens to my deposits, the company says, the bank says that all deposits are going to be fully refunded. They say that, repaid. But they didn't really give details on how it plans to resolve any of the claims that folks have already placed against the business. But this has been one of two main banks in the crypto industry. It probably holds about a tenth of what the other bank holds, right? So Silvergate has over 11 billion assets compared with Signature, based in New York, which has 114 billion, right? And of course, the bankrupt crypto exchange, FTX, was one of Silvergate's biggest customers. And when that whole fallout happened, people withdrew as much as 70% of customer deposits, and that was about $3.8 billion. So it was really a huge fallout. And, I can say that, remember early on when we saw this fallout happen, and even before that, we heard people talking about crypto contagion, right? Yeah. I think this is proving that point. If more exchanges continue to fall because of this, but there are 3 exchanges who say they're immune to this, right? It's Binance, it's Coinbase, and then it's one more, OKX. They said that they're not really worried about this situation happening to them.
Well, there's a lot of questions about Binance the last couple months. That's the one that's kind of on our watch list right now. But Silvergate here, it's been a ticking time bomb, basically, with the big loan they put out to Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy, too. Hundreds of millions of dollars, like 65% to go in Bitcoin. So, I mean, that didn't work. Okay, here we go. Bitcoin down a little bit this morning, trying to hang on, though. Thanks for taking us through it, Renita. Good stuff.